Join the wacky world of the characters who work for the Yellow Cab Company. Tuesday at 7:30 here on ITV.
My Gran's Sunday dinners are grand, but you should see the state of her pots afterwards. So I bought her a bottle of Persil. "Och, Billy, you great lump," she says. "Persil's for your clothes. You can't use it in the dishes." "But Gran," I said, "this is new Persil washing up liquid. It's nearly as thick as your porridge, and it's got a clever top to help stop sticky dribbles." Well, I do believe she was mighty impressed. Very funny, Granny.
New Persil washing up liquid. Now Persil washes more than just your clothes.
Morning.
Morning.
Fiver a hole, anyone?
Who do you bank with?
Gyrobank.
Gyrobank?
What? Well, I'll get a £100 check card. Automatic overdraft. Cash dispensers all over the place. I can phone them up until 8 o'clock at night. And I get a whacking 8.5% interest on every pound in my current account. I think that could be a birdie.
With Gyrobank, you'll have the last laugh.
All over the country, ordinary electricity users will be preparing for the 12 regional electricity companies' share offers.
Got a stitch?
No.
To register for prospectus, all you have to do is perform one simple exercise. Just pick up the phone.
To register, ring 0272 272 272. You could buy into what you plug into.
This week, meet Michael Elphick, back without the booze, fabulous 16-plus fashion and free our luxury bath cream.
Dash round to your newsagent now and ask him for a blank cheque. The Daily Star's Money Mania cheque. You'll get your own personal number, and if it matches those printed each day in the Daily Star, you could write yourself a cheque for up to £10,000. So pick up your cheque now and pick up the Daily Star every day. Daily Star Money Mania. They'd be mad not to play.
If you're watching television without a license, you're looking at a £400 fine. Don't break the law. Get a license.
Snaff had the fangulations as dubby as Pork Farms, Dan. Thou must trust their chompers as bunty. Me twindle nossocks short of a grunty.
Pork Farms.
Uh-huh.
Mr. Kipling is inclined to jest about my fishing equipment. You've forgotten the trouser press, old boy, he says. And where's the fridge? So imagine my glee when he offered me a Bramley apple pie with custard. Custard, I crowed. Brought the gas stove, have you? But these were Mr. Kipling's new apple pies with custard inside. I was quite crestfallen till I tasted one. They are exceedingly good apple and custard pies.
Now Persil washes more than just your clothes.
Thanks a lot, Persil.
If you're up here on some kind of scam, I hope you lose your shirt.
Stay Lucky the Movies, Sunday on ITV.
Comedy for the autumn. Shelley's back.
I wonder what I was in previous lives. Tactical advisor to General Custer? Cecil Parkinson's vasectomist?
Shelley's waxing philosophic. And as for these two, is love on the wane?
I never steal other women's men. Borrow them occasionally.
If looks could kill. But that's love. Comedy, next Monday on ITV.
Free in
in tomorrow's Daily Mirror, a great motor show extra. The top cars, the best buys, plus win a new Ford Escort. Win free petrol for a year. There's even a car for the kids to be won. A must for every motorist. Buy the Big Value Daily Mirror tomorrow.
In a world where so many people are slaves to fashion, some still tread their own path. In a world where comfort is so often sacrificed to style, some people insist on both. In a world of hatchbacks and fastbacks, some people want a car in a class of its own. Ford Orion, a modern classic.
Colin! Tidy that room! This calls for a quaver. Quavers. Watch out, they taste curly.
Add a little Worcester saucery with Lee and Perrins.
Behind a great cook, you'll find a great gas cooker.
There are brands that could wash up after Sunday lunch in every flat in this block. But Fairy, well, it could do next door.
Don't you just hate losing your glasses? Where are they? And I never even left this desk. Good thing I went to the Vision Express 2-for-1 sale. Bought a new pair of glasses, wherever they are, and got this spare pair absolutely free. Both in about an hour. If you lose glasses, like me, go to Vision Express. Get new glasses plus a free spare in about 1 hour. The 2-for-1 in an hour sale. Vision Express, now at the Schofield Centre Leeds, phone 341-700, and the Meadowhall Centre Sheffield, phone 568899.
What do you rank number 3?
What happens when Blind Date makes you famous? As Cilla Black returns with the best of Blind Date, TV Times investigates what happened to blind daters away from the cameras. Did their dates become mates, or was it a disaster? Also, Hollywood superstar 73-year-old Kirk Douglas talks about his unconventional marriage. This is the week to send for your free gold-plated bracelet and to win a holiday in Spain with the only complete 7-day guide to ITV and Channel 4. Your weekly TV Times.
Julie Anderson from Leeds was last year's Enterprise winner. If you're 25 or under and run your own business, why not write for an entry form to Enterprise 91, YTV, Leeds, LS3, 1JS.
The joy and the tragedy of a baby girl who dies, aged only 7 weeks, is told by her father in Camilla at 10:40. Now on YTV, time for the World News.
Britain and Europe show the Iraqis the door.
American general who talked of bombing Baghdad is sacked. The British still in Kuwait tell their stories. An IRA Monday murder attempt in Mrs. Thatcher's constituency. And George Blake, the turncoat, tells how he'd do it again. Good evening. All Iraqi military officials are being expelled from Britain and the other common market countries. The European foreign ministers meeting in Brussels also decided to restrict the movement of remaining Iraqi embassy staff. It's a response to Iraqi attacks on European embassy buildings in Kuwait last week. Britain has ordered 8 Iraqi diplomats and 23 other Iraqi nationals to leave by the end of the week.
The French foreign minister arrived in Brussels in search of solidarity. His government led the way by expelling 29 Iraqis at the weekend, and he wanted community support.
We expect it, yes, and we hope we'll succeed.
Douglas Hurd was the first to give it to him, announcing Britain's decision to expel military staff from the Iraqi embassy in London. And by the end of today's foreign ministers' meeting, the entire community had agreed to take similar steps. This crisis is producing something very close to a common EC foreign policy. The Prime Minister, on a visit to Czechoslovakia, explained Britain's action like this.
And naturally, when the European community has given us support, when we've had to take action on various things, we naturally wish to act together over the outrage of the Iraqi troops going into the residences of certain members of the diplomatic service in Kuwait.
In London, the Iraqi ambassador was summoned to the Foreign Office and given a list of those who must leave, as well as the diplomats' 23 names, many students said to be political activists.
Well, it is a hasty decision, and unjust and unfair decision.
Those the French told to leave are already on their way home. Baghdad continues to deny that the violation of diplomatic buildings that gave rise to these expulsions took place. The Iraqi ambassador in Paris appearing to suggest that the whole affair was some kind of French farce.
They said that the residence of the ambassador in Kuwait was entered by Iraqi soldiers. This did not happen. The French diplomat was caught in the house of one of the daughters of the ex-emir of Kuwait. And when they find out that he's a French diplomat, they took him back to his ex-embassy in Kuwait. That's all what happened.
The Foreign Office has until now been reluctant to act against Iraqi diplomats. There is a danger that Iraq may retaliate by sending home British diplomats, and that would make it even more difficult to look after the interests of those British citizens that remain there.
The head of the United States Air Force has been sacked for saying that American planes would bomb Baghdad and try to kill Saddam Hussein if war broke out. General Michael Dugan told a newspaper that in war, the cutting edge would be downtown Baghdad. This would not be nibbling at the edges. If I want to hurt you, it would be at home.
General Dugan, a much decorated war hero and Air Force chief for just 3 months, was touring US forces in the Gulf last week when he was asked about the state of readiness of those forces.
I think that we could respond to any directions that we got from the president today.
His crime was to detail in a newspaper interview what he thought those directions were likely to be. Air power, he said, was the only answer. The cutting edge would be downtown Baghdad. This would not be nibbling at the edges. And Saddam Hussein ought to be the focus of our efforts. Defense Secretary Dick Cheney condemned the general's outpourings, but refused to confirm or deny that he'd unveiled America's battle plan.
I was concerned about the lack of judgment involved in wide-ranging speculation about decisions which may or may not be made in the future by the president. As a matter of policy, as you all know, there are some things we never discuss. We never talk about future operations, such as the selection of specific targets for potential airstrikes.
General Dugan also told the Washington Post he didn't expect to be concerned by political constraints. But in this, the first sacking of a member of the Joint Chiefs of Staff in more than 40 years, the politicians have exercised the ultimate constraint and reminded the military of who's in charge of Operation Desert Shield. Alistair Stewart, News at 10, Washington.